Steelers Nation, what is going on? Thank you guys so very much for joining us on yet another edition of the Steelers Culture Podcast, where we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football, as this episode is powered by our great friends over at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. And Steelers Nation, it has finally arrived for the SteelTwins to release our very first pre-free agency NFL Pittsburgh Steelers mock draft for the 2025 offseason.
It's about time. Here comes our first mock through tough, high, long consideration. We have come across our first and only pre-free agency mock draft. Obviously, after free agency, everything will change. I'm sure 2-3 weeks time when we do another mock, this will look drastically different. But as of now, where we stand, this is our first official mock. So before we get into it, appreciate you guys for watching. As always, man, if you're new, hit the like, comment, subscribe. Our socials are in the ticker, also in the description box below. Same thing with our Spotify if you want to listen to the audio version of this podcast. And a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video. Huge shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring with us while we do this mock draft as we look at the early odds of the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Last year was won by, of course, Patrick Surtain. TJ Watt is fourth on the list with plus 850 to 1 odds. Myles Garrett's at the top of the list. We got Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, who I think is more in line for comeback player of the year, but you can never doubt him for defensive player of the year. Will Anderson, Max Crosby, Nick Bosa. I mean, got all these names. If you think TJ Watt could win another defensive player of the year, and he should have already won how many now, but if you think he could win another for this upcoming season, those odds are pretty well. If you're very confident TJ Watt could have a great season next year, as we know he will, and be the defensive player of the year once again. BetUS has you covered if you guys are looking for any of the NFL odds for the draft, for the future odds for the upcoming season, or for any other sports around the sport world, man. Huge shout out to BetUS. When signing up to BetUS, make sure you use 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% on your following 2 deposits using that promo code YouTube150 to sign up at BetUS.com today and take advantage of those perks over our friends from BetUS. And they also have a casino if you guys are into casino slots and casino dealers. So check them out. They have a special offer for you guys as well when it comes to the casino. You could receive up to a 200% sign-up casino bonus up to $5,000 and a 250% crypto sign-up bonus up to $5,000 as well. So take care of all these bonuses. And a huge shout-out once again to BetUS for sponsoring with us on this video. Just please gamble responsibly. Now, let's get into the mock draft. It's been weeks. It's been months. And we have officially come to terms on our first mock with the 21st pick. Highly considered receiver. Not going to lie to you guys. We highly considered receiver. We do not go receiver in the first round, at least. We highly considered Derek Harmon for Oregon. I think you guys know why. He's an incredible pass rusher.
Phenomenal athlete.
Steelers need a guy like him on the line. But I think what the Steelers are really looking for is someone to stop the run, someone to fill the gaps. They're looking for a true nose. They're looking for a true 0-1 tech. So with the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. Big guy, man. You're looking for someone with the proper size, with the proper frame to fit that nose tackle for the Steelers. A scheme fit for the Steelers, 6'4", 331. Now, he's a phenomenal run stopper, as you guys see. He's also good at batting passes down, which we know the Steelers love at the line. Cam Hayward has made a career off of that. He also has a lot of interior push as well. He has a lot of pass rush upside. He's not someone that's going to bounce crazy from the stat sheet. He'll get a few sacks here and there, but 23 hurries last year, 15 the year prior. He shows you he does have that pass rush ability. He has that pass rush upside. He can play anywhere between the 3 and the 0, so he has that line versatility, but he would start as the nose tackle specifically on rundowns, which would allow Keanu Benton to move to 3 tech, and you would give him all of the reps, all of the downs to use that pass rush upside.
Yeah, this man is, for a man of his size, for him to be able to move around like that and do what he has been able to showcase already for the Wolverines is just insane. This guy is a mammoth of a man that played every game in college, which was 41. He started 17 of those games. He, of course, won a national championship back in 2023 with the Wolverines, so he played a big part of that. And this past season, 2024, I mean, he finished with 32 combined tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and 5 passes defended. You know, this guy is a huge man that is an asset to stop at the run, but also getting interior push. Though getting sacks isn't exactly his go-to, it doesn't mean that he can't get sacks whatsoever. The guy is more than capable of doing so.
Yes, he is. And to see how he moves for a man his size is very impressive. Now, I know there are some concerns with his arm length and whatnot at the position, but as you see on the film, I mean, the guy is ferocious at the line. He's very quick off the snap, he's disruptive, and he's a guy that we need to stop the run. One of the things the Steelers need to get back to on the defensive line is stopping the run. He is one of the best in the class when it comes to filling the gaps. So the Steelers with the 21st pick, you already know they love their Michigan guys. You know they love their Wolverines. I guarantee you he will be a top 30 visit. I guarantee you Tomlin and everybody, they're going to send the house to the Michigan Pro Day. I'm sure they're going to have eyes on a guy like Kenneth Grant for the first round. As of now, we do think they take defensive line. That could change in a couple weeks. That could change by next week, actually. They could make a very big splash in free agency for defensive linemen, ideally a Milton Williams. But that's not always guaranteed. So right now, where we stand before anything is done, we do think they go defensive line early.
Yeah, and getting a guy like Grant, so to speak, you know, you would insert him right at the nose tackle position, and it gives you the flexibility to move Keanu Benton over to D-end and just give him more playing time and make him more of a 3-down player that I think we all believe that he can be.
It's what he should have been all along. Yeah. But this move would just allow that. While Grant has some line versatility to eventually be a 3-down player down the road, maybe be that Cam Hayward replacement, if so. So he always has that versatility. He and Benton can swap and be versatile at the same time. It just allows a lot of fun stuff to happen on that defensive line.
A lot of fun stuff. You know, just a lot of havoc to happen down on the trenches at the defensive line, and I'm all for that.
A lot of youth, a lot of power, a lot of strength right there. Now, second round, the 52nd pick. We highly considered running back here. We do not go running back in the second round. We highly considered Caleb Johnson, highly considered Henderson, highly considered Judkins. We really did.
And I love all 3 of those backs. I do.
And believe me, if any of those guys are available in round 2, it's hard to pass on any of them. I'm not going to lie to you. But running back is deep, very deep. And the Steelers need wide receiver.
Badly.
And there's not many great names in free agency, dude. There's not. There's maybe 2 or 3 names that pop off the list. The top one is obviously Chris Godwin. There's no guarantee the Steelers are going to get him. Devontae Adams was just cut. There's Darius Slayton. But, I mean, there's not a lot of fish in the sea for them to catch. So when it comes to wide receiver, if they don't take it in the first round, I ought to think they take it in the second round. There's going to be some depth. There's going to be some talent there at the wide receiver position.
And you know the Steelers, with their trend, they love their day 2 wide receivers.
Oh, my God. They can't get enough of it. So, once again, we go another day 2 receiver with the 52nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Another big man of great size and great frame that the Steelers love, but is very athletic and very fluid for his size. It's astonishing to see. Not only is this guy a great ball catcher, very low drop rate, 1,000 yards last year plus, 9 touchdowns last year. He's an incredible receiver with route running ability, with fluidity at the same time. He's a strong guy. He's got speed. For his size, it's astonishing of how much of an athlete he is.
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, when I look at his tape and I just see, you know, just the rare breed that he brings with his frame, speed, body control, and his consistent hands at that, I just see a lot of Nico Collins in this man's game.
Yes, you do.
And I got to tell you, you know, the Steelers could use a guy like Nico Collins. I'll tell you that right now. You know, Higgins, you know, he's 6'4", 214 pounds, 22 years old, so he's still very young. You know, he started his college career at Eastern Kentucky before transferring over to Iowa State, where he burst onto the scene in 2023, where he started 12 of 13 games, finishing with 53 catches, 983 yards, and 6 touchdowns, before improving his numbers and his play in 2024, where he finished with 87 catches, 1,183 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns, like you mentioned.
This guy's a playmaker. And what did Omar Khan say during the combine interviews? We need playmakers.
On the offensive side of the ball.
This guy's a playmaker, man. He would immediately be the number 2 opposite George Pickens and kind of just be another big play guy, someone that could catch anywhere on the field and make plays happen. You want him in the deep ball, he's got you covered. You want him in the intermediate, you want him on the short routes, he has the speed, he has the elusiveness, and he has the yak ability to do so. He's got the long speed, and look at that route running. Again, for his size, impressive. Why would the Steelers not be eyeing a guy like Jaden Higgins?
Who wouldn't want a guy like Jaden Higgins? Again, the guy carries a rare breed of talent, of potential, of playmaking ability, of impact. And the Steelers don't have any impact players on that offense.
They don't have any playmakers whatsoever.
No, they don't.
This guy's a playmaker. And one thing I like about Higgins a lot is his versatility. He can line outside on the perimeter outside of Pickens, but if you want to put him in the slot on certain downs as a power slot weapon, it's a mismatch any day. Any day. You use that speed up the middle, you use that speed across the field, you use that speed deep, anywhere along the field. But in the slot, it's a dangerous weapon to have for a guy, whoever's the quarterback's going to be, preferably Fields.
Yeah, but you select this guy day 2, you get another day 2 wide receiver, but a good one at that, in Higgins with his upside and potential and the ability to bring impact to the offense and just an outstanding, bona fide outside wide receiver that the Steelers are missing desperately. You can't go wrong with Jaden Higgins.
No, and he's really rising his stock so much. I wouldn't be surprised if he's taken early day 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he sneaks his way into the late first round, actually. But as of now in this draft process, we're hoping that he falls to 52. And with that being said, with the Steelers needing wide receiver help and everything that Higgins brings to the table, Steelers can't pass on that. And I'm sure he's going to be one of the guys that's going to be on the Steelers' radar, as he should be. He's what the Steelers have wanted at a receiver for a while as a number 2. Legitimate playmaker, legit dominance at the line. You grab this guy and you just you put him and Pickens together, that's bully football right there.
Yes, it is.
Love to see it. Now the 3rd round with the 83rd pick, we finally go running back, not corner, and we'll explain it. We finally go running back in the 3rd round. Running back is very stacked. They're going to need a running back at some point. Najee is well on his way out, most likely. Warren will be tendered. Khan did admit that, but we still need another running back. We need someone for the future. So in the 3rd round with the 83rd pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devin Neal, running back out of Kansas. Now, I know there are some concerns about his long speed and his breakaway speed. He don't have that. He's not the fastest guy. And I know some of you guys want a running back with some crazy long speed. I totally understand it, because the Steelers haven't had that in a while. The Steelers don't really have that breakaway guy. But another thing they don't have is a guy with great vision, decisiveness at the line, and someone that can cut into open space and make big plays happen.
Yeah, you mentioned about his lack of top-end burst or speed about that. I mean, he ran an official 4.58 at the 40-yard dash. It's not the worst speed, but it's also not the greatest at the same time. But I got to tell you, despite the lack of top-end speed, he does back it up with his playing ability, just his style, which is a patient back that just allows the big man up front to open up the lanes for him. The fact that he established himself as a workhorse back. I mean, he played in 49 games, starting 43 of those in Kansas. He had 3 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards. In the last 2 seasons, he reached over 1,200 rushing yards on the ground and 16 rushing touchdowns in each of those seasons. So the guy is more than capable of being a workhorse back, but that's the crazy thing about that is he would not have to be that day 1.
No, he'd come in and rotate with Warren. They'd be a dynamic duo, in my opinion. 2 guys that are almost similar type of running backs. They have receiving upside. They can get up in the open space. They can make plays happen. They are just very elusive. They have great body control. You want guys that are going to force missed tackles. You want guys that are going to make plays in open space and be able to find room up the field. That's how you do it. And I think Devin Neal has all the tools to be a future number 1 in the league.
And the thing about Neal as well is the fact that he makes the most out of his carries. Like, the man just does not give up on a play. He does not give up on the down whatsoever. He's a guy that's hard to take down, a man that knows how to make defenders miss. Again, I mentioned his patient run style is something that, is very Le'Veon Bell-esque and whatnot.
I mean, look how he's able to just find open space that way. He's just a very decisive guy at the line of scrimmage. And I think the Steelers could very well use that, because he has the patience, he has the vision, and he has the athleticism to cut into space where he has that burst ability. Like he'll be patient at the line, and then he'll zoom down the field in no time. It's astonishing.
And it's something that the Steelers could very well be seeking. And imagine a pairing of Devin Neal and Jalen Warren. It would be a nice, young, fresh, fun, and exciting duo, that could bring some excitement to the ground game.
I think it'd be a very productive ground game at a very cheap cost, and then you got your future running back one and a guy like Devin Neal in the 3rd round. So that's why we take a guy like Devin Neal here. So to recap, first we go defensive tackle, then we go receiver, then we go running back. We haven't gone corner yet. And the reason for that is because I am very hopeful that they will go corner in free agency. We are very hopeful that very early on in the free agency market, they're going to sign a top guy or a cornerback to opposite JPJ, someone to play outside. Maybe they bring in 2 guys to play the nickel and to play the outside.
No, I think the Steelers have the capabilities with the cap space that they have and just how stacked the free agency pool is at cornerback. I think they can very well get 2 cornerbacks.
I think it's very ideal. But regardless, we do think they bring in a starting-worthy corner opposite JPJ or anywhere along that cornerback room because it's necessary. There's too many names for agency to not to. You have so much money to not be able to do it. So that's where we are at with corner right now. We're hopeful that they're going to go out and grab a corner. But they still need depth. We like Corey Trice, but with his injuries, you always have that concern with his availability and his durability.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you got Ryan Watts, who will be back, but he could see more safety reps more than corner. Who else do you have at corner for depth? No one. You're not bringing back James Pierre. You're not bringing back anyone else that was in that room last year.
No, you got to freshen up. You got to get a new change of scenery. Some younger, better depth at that.
So in the 4th round, we do go cornerback. And there's plenty of guys in the 4th round that can go at the corner position. There's a couple slot options. There's a couple really good outside guys. And this is for depth purposes, but this is someone maybe the Steelers can prop up. He'll get his feet wet in special teams, but in sub packages, he can get his feet wet. Someone that is very strong in coverage and very strong football player in general. In the 4th round, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers going cornerback and selecting Noah Williams, defensive back out of California. This is a very strong guy. And when we mention playmakers, this guy's a huge playmaker at the cornerback position. 7 interceptions last year. He started his collegiate career at UNLV and had 5 interceptions in his first 3 years there and then transferred to California. And in his last 2 years at Cal, he has had 9 interceptions, 7 including last year.
And that's the thing that sticks out about Noah Williams the most is just his ability to create turnovers and just having a nose for the football, an eagle eye for the football, I should say. 7 interceptions last year, like you said, 14 interceptions overall in his college career. I mean, it's just astonishing. The fact that, wherever the ball is, he just seems to be wherever the ball is around. The guy's a very good guy at creating turnovers, at getting to the football. His capabilities with good frame, 6 foot, 199 pounds, and even some strength that upon that too. He had 19 bench reps at the combine. Pretty remarkable.
He's strong at the line. He's strong in press coverage. And he's very good against the run as well. So he gives you everything you're looking for a boundary cornerback. Someone that can start in special teams, someone that can build up, maybe get his feet wet in sub packages, maybe start a couple games if he has to. This is the dependable cornerback depth that the Steelers are looking for, and a guy like Noah Williams, a very, very huge sleeper in our opinion for day 3.
And to see him work with a guy and a coach like Gerald Alexander, who we brought back to be our primary defensive back coach, that does intrigue me a little bit. A guy of Noah Williams' upside and potential to work with a coach like that wherever he has been has made the position and the room a lot better. That is intriguing considering our track record of defensive backs in general. We don't really have a great track record of drafting them and develop them, but Gerald Alexander is one of those guys that, when he works with a talent, when he works with a certain position, he makes them a whole hell of a lot better.
And you notice about Noah Williams, and you notice the trend of the corners that the Steelers have drafted the past couple of years. You look at JPJ, you look at Corey Trice. Those two bring 2 things. One is excellent frame and physicality. Noah Williams brings the exact same thing. I think that's exactly what the Steelers are looking for. They're looking for lockdown potential guys at the corner position, while Noah Williams brings that ball hawking ability at the same time. So for depth purposes and maybe someone that can build up, potentially being a future starter, if ever that have to be the case, we like Noah Williams' upside a lot. Bring him into this defensive back room, make it younger, and just bring more playmaking ability.
That'd be great.
I think the secondary needs it. I think the cornerback specifically, that position needs it. So Noah Williams in the 4th round. We like him potentially being brought in to the Pittsburgh Steelers as the cornerback depth. Only if they sign a top corner, of course.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping on. That's what we're banking on.
Fingers crossed on that, but Williams will be, very good depth. Young depth at that. What's upside to bring along?
Not just Noah Williams. How about his former teammate from UNLV in 2022? If you guys have done your research, you guys already know who I'm talking about. But in the 5th round, we double dip at wide receiver. I think it's very ideal. I think it has to happen because they need to revamp the entire receiving room. They need as many people, they need as many bodies, they need as many new faces in there as they can. You're going to have Pickens, you're going to have Roman Wilson, you're going to have Calvin Austin, maybe a free agent. That's a huge maybe. Then you have Jayden Higgins, who we have earlier in this mock. And in this pick, in the 5th round, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers going wide receiver again, double dipping, which they love to do, with Ricky White, wide receiver out of UNLV. Noah Williams, former teammate for a year in 2022. And this guy, you talk about playmakers, huge playmaker, not just on the field, but in special teams. If you're looking for that special teams ace, this is the guy.
Yeah, last year in 2024, Danny Smith had been salivating, just looking at this man's tape. Last year in 2024, he had 4 blocked punts, 4 of them for a wide receiver, 4 blocked punts, one of them that led to a safety, and he even returned a punt for a touchdown.
Yeah.
This man is a special teams demon. This man is a special teams ace at the wide receiver position, but even his capabilities as a wide receiver, he really stood out as their primary target. He started off at Michigan State before transferring over to UNLV in 2022. He ended up playing in 38 games, starting in 37 of those, and he just was very productive once he arrived on the scene at UNLV. Last 2 seasons, he finished with over 1,000 receiving yards, with 1,483 in 2023, and 8 touchdowns, while in 2024, he had 1,020 yards, but he had 11 touchdowns. So it goes to show that not only is this man a standout at special teams, but a capable target at wide receiver at the same time.
Agreed. This guy would be very good wide receiver depth. Now, there are concerns about his long speed and his press and his release off of press and his break off of the snap against press coverage. There are some concerns there, but as of now, he wouldn't be brought in for that. He's not being asked for that. That's something that Zach Cassani, the receiver coach for the Steelers, can work on.
Yeah.
He has a great track record, so that's something he can work him with. But as of now, when we bring him in with the 5th round pick, he would be the special teams ace. He is someone that we would ask to make plays on special teams. You want him to be a gunner, you want him to block punts, you want him to make plays anywhere on special teams. This is the guy.
Yeah, whatever you ask Ricky White to do, he's going to go out there and do his damnedest. He's going to go out there and do his best. And I got to tell you, say that Ben Skoranek, a man that you and I have been talking about that Steelers should re-sign and bring back as not only depth, but as a special teams ace at wide receiver. Now, this man could very well be the replacement to Skoranek if Skoranek does not re-sign with the team.
Right.
But imagine a duo at wide receiver with Ricky White and Ben Skoranek for special teams.
That's special teams unlimited.
That would be phenomenal at the wide receiver position. I'm all for that. And
Ricky White, I think he is one of the more underrated sleeper wide receivers for day 3. Because, he brings a special teams coverage, and that's what the Steelers are going to draft him to be. But don't sleep on his receiving upside, man. Big playmaker. He can make the plays down deep. He can make plays short. He's got some yak ability to him. Again, not a lot of crazy speed, especially for his frame. He does have some drop issues. But look at this play right here. That yak ability is exactly what the Steelers need at the receiver position. This guy just makes plays all over the field. His tape is really impressive. The Steelers should have eyes on him for one reason or another, and I think he could come in and build his way up the roster. Start on special teams, then work your way up. He has that in and out versatility. I think he'd be a fine hand for receiver for depth.
He'd be a fun hand at that.
He sure would be.
He'd be a fun hand at wide receiver for depth and special teams.
Ricky White is one of our favorite receivers for day 3 and one of our big sleepers overall for this entire draft class. So in the 5th round, the Steelers snag him up, double dipper receiver, grab their special teams guy, and grab someone that could be built up as depth down the road. Now, in the 7th round, if I'm correct, the Steelers have 2 7th-round picks. We had 3, but traded a 7th rounder to the Packers for Preston Smith. So the Steelers, as of now, have only 2 7th-round picks. We don't have a 6th, but we have 2 7th-round picks. That 6th was traded to, of course, the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 7th-round picks. And with the first 7th-round pick, continuing on with the special teams, the Steelers select Hunter Wohler, safety out of Wisconsin. First of all, he's a Wisconsin Badger. I don't know what they're putting over there in Wisconsin, but these Wisconsin folk, they know how to play some football. And so does Hunter Wohler. He's versatile. He can play in the slot. He is a beast in the box. He is someone that will definitely be a huge improvement at safety depth when it comes to the run defense. This is his best attribute. That's his best trait, is being in the box and filling the gaps and shooting down where the ball carrier is and making plays around the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Wohler is a 4-year player at Wisconsin, starting in his last 2 years, and just constantly moved around throughout that whole Badgers defense, has plenty of experience as a deep safety in the slot, but mainly as that box player right there, and just a capable guy at stopping the run, not a man that's going to get crazy turnovers as that, but that would not be his role. That's not what he would be asked to do, but he's very good at stopping the run, more than capable at covering those tight ends if he is asked to do so. But this guy would be a core special teamer and strong safety depth at that.
Agreed. Now, he doesn't have the long speed. He doesn't have the speed to match the range or to work down deep, which is why he would be very good in sub packages as that dime backer or working in the box, blanketing tight ends. He's very, very good in coverage when it comes to that. And I think that's where, if his name were to be called on the field, that is his best role as safety depth. Work in the box, work against the tight ends, work in the run defense, but he would get his feet wet and he would be another demon for special teams. Maybe even the Miles Kilburn replacement whenever that day comes, because he's getting up there in age. Hunter Wohler would be that guy. So in the 7th round, we're not looking for any flashy guys. We're not looking for anything crazy. We're looking for guys that are going to fill the roster. We're looking for guys that are going to make plays at special teams. We're looking for guys that are just going to fill the silent roles. And that's what Hunter Wohler does. The Wisconsin Badger, very good football player. He plays hard every down. And I expect him to do the same in the NFL, and for the Steelers to be a very, very good special teams guy and a very good safety guy.
Why not bring a 4th Badger to the Steelers defense? We already have 3, if I am correct on that.
You are.
Get the 4 horsemen together, huh?
I don't hate that. Steelers love their Wisconsin Badgers, and they have a good history of selecting guys like that. So Hunter Wohler in the 7th round, just to bulk up special teams and to help out the safety depth, because right now we don't have safety depth. DeMonte Casey's on his way out. We don't have anyone else behind him, so why not fill it in the 7th round with a guy we really like, day 3, in Hunter Wohler. Now, the second 7th round pick, you notice one position we haven't taken yet, which the Steelers have taken 4 or 5 times now in the last couple draft classes, is offensive line. The Steelers have most of their offensive line filled. They have their starters filled. That's not a question.
Yep.
They don't have depth. We are lackluster at depth, specifically tackle depth. Interior, we got, Spencer Anderson. Maybe they bring back Nate Herbig. We got some depth there. Ryan McCollum will be back. But
no tackle depth whatsoever.
no, we have nobody. Dylan Cook might be back, but we have no other tackle depth. So in the 7th round to close out this mock, we do go tackle depth. We go swing tackle depth, and we go with someone that I'm sure Tomlin is going to have his eye on if he hasn't already. This is a Mike Tomlin tackle. In the 7th round, the Steelers select Holland Pierce, tackle out of Rutgers, 6'8", 341.
Humongous.
That's a Mike Tomlin tackle if I've ever seen one. And what I like about Pierce is, yes, he has swing ability. He started his college career at right tackle for a year, and then his final 2 years he played at left tackle. Did a very good job there. Didn't allow a single sack last season, and he's very, very disciplined. Very little penalties. He has great technique to close out his edge. Very, very impressive for a guy his size. Solid athleticism. You wouldn't think a guy of this gargantuan would be as fluid as he is, but look at him. And him as a big body will be a big help in the run game.
Yeah.
If they want to bring him in as an extra tackle and goal line packages, that's a big body right there.
That would be his role. That would be his go-to, and just have a guy of that size, that build, and that athleticism at the same time with his build is something that I'm sure Tomlin would love to have on the team. It's something that I'm sure Omar Khan will be looking to add upon, and the Steelers need true swing tackle depth because we don't have one currently, and this man carries that capability 100%.
And you got to stop making Broderick do everything. You got to put Broderick where he should be, and you got to make someone the swing guy. That's where Holland Pierce would come in. Now, could he be a future starter in the league? I'm not going to doubt it. I'm not going to rule it out. So down the road, could he be a guy that Tomlin likes enough to challenge a Broderick Jones? Sure. And in the 7th round, if you can get someone like that, that's a steal. But for what his role would be initially is he would be the swing guy. He'd come in, he'd be the backup. He'd have to play any spot in case of emergency. You want to put him in goal line situations or in short yardage packages where you could use his size to a great magnitude. I love Holland Pierce. I'm a big fan of him and just his size and just how fluid he is and how disciplined of a football player he is for his size.
Yeah, Pierce is just a big body offensive lineman that just is full of power and tenacity and is just a thunderous man in the run blocking department, as well as, holding his own well in pass protection.
Sure is. Very, very rare combination of size and length and just a strong run blocker. And the Steelers want to try to get back to the run, so why not get a big body guy along that line if he ever gets his name called. So that is our first mock, guys. That is our first official mock draft for the 2025 draft season pre-free agency. This is going to be our only pre-free agency mock draft, as you guys know, because free agency starts next week. And then hopefully a lot of our questions and answers will be answered. And our next mock, whenever that will be, probably 2-3 weeks down the line, will be drastically different. Maybe we do go receiver round 1 next time. Maybe they grab a great corner. Maybe they grab a huge splash at defensive line.
Yeah. Whatever they do in free agency, hopefully they continue the trend. Omar Khan and company, they continue the trend of what they have done within the past 2 off seasons in free agency, where they were just very aggressive and very, attack heavy early on, within the first day of negotiations and whatnot, and we can just have a true understanding of okay, this is where they are actually going for the NFL draft. And I'm excited about that.
I'm very excited. So otherwise, guys, that's our first mock. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. The basis of this mock was adding playmakers. Omar Khan has made that known, and I anticipate him to add playmakers in free agency. And I anticipate him to try to add playmakers in the draft. And we feel like that in this mock, we add some serious playmakers. We add some serious difference makers, guys that are going to make some immediate impact on the roster. So let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys have any mock drafts of your own, if you guys agree or disagree with some of these picks, let us know. Let us know your guys' thoughts. Give us your interactions down in the comments below, as we always appreciate and look forward to. So thank you guys for that. And again, a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video. Huge shout out to Bet Your Sportsbook, a casino. If you guys are looking for a new sportsbook for the upcoming NFL season or for the NFL offseason in regards to NFL future odds regarding to the draft or coach of the year, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, comeback player of the year, they got all those coming up for you guys for this offseason. Or if you guys want to get your bet on for any other sports leagues, they have all that covered for you as well. So huge shout out to Bet Your Sportsbook and Casino. Make sure you use that 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% on your following 2 deposits using the promo code YouTube150 when signing up and checking out their casino bonuses as well. And if you guys are into casino live slots and all that good stuff. So huge shout out to BetUS for sponsoring with us. We'll see what the Steelers do. We'll keep you guys updated. Otherwise, see you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!